We're pleased to be joined from Atlanta via Skype by the former chairman of the Tea Party Express, Amy Kremer. And from Newsmax New York, we have attorney and political operative Sam Nunberg. Sam worked for Donald Trump, then signed on with Ted Cruz, but now he's back to backing the Donald as the presumptive nominee. And that NBC News Survey Monkey poll is worth revisiting again. Check it out. There is the Donald within 3 points. Clinton was up by 5 last week. Trump has basically cut that in half. I got to ask you, Amy, does it surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me. I think Donald Trump is going to win the general election, and he's trending that way now. And as people start paying attention to the issues, then you're going to see those poll numbers go up, JD. He's definitely got the momentum here, and I think it's going to carry him.
Sam, you're there in New York. You can kind of give us that New York state of mind. What's the talk there in the Big Apple? People surprised at this?
Well, you know, it's a competitive race right now. I think what we're more interested in is to see what happens once Hillary gets the nomination. And you have to remember, JD, we're going to have something very unique this cycle, which is we're going to have our convention in July, and then we have to wait for her convention for another month or so. And at that point, I think we would really probably know where the race sets heading into September. But these are very good numbers for Donald. Make no mistake, if you look at the crosstabs of this poll, what I was most surprised about is that Donald is doing better with Hispanics now in this poll than Mitt Romney ended up doing last cycle. And he's also improving steadily with Republicans, also Republican women. So I think there's a lot of upside here. I think that, you know, he's going to continue to saturate the media. It looks as if Senator Cruz and everybody else is more to the background. And Donald is going to get his message out. So I think these numbers are going to continue to tighten.
So, Amy, let me ask you, as one of the leaders in the Tea Party movement back in 2010 and beyond, do you think the other rank-and-file Republicans, the GOP establishment, is going to realize it's the Trump train? There's no reason to try and derail it?
Well, I think that some you'll never convince. I mean, they've dug in and they're not going anywhere. But I think most people will realize that it's either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, and you have a choice. And if you don't support Donald Trump and you don't support Hillary and you sit it out, you're helping Hillary. So I do think that they're going to come around. Some of them are still grieving and mourning their loss, but they will come around. And I think as we get past the conventions and after Labor Day, when everybody starts paying attention to the general election, I really think you're going to see the momentum then, and the Republicans really come together to elect Donald Trump.
And we're going to come around to phone calls right now, checking in from Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey. We've got Hugh on the phone. Hugh, tonight's prime question: should Donald Trump sue the New York Times? What do you say?
I think he should sue them, because it will give him a lot more exposure with the other anti-Trump channels on the television. And if I might add one other thing, please.
Go ahead.
Yes, they're writing bad things and they're saying bad things, especially on this MSNBC, which I just get a clue from them. But they shouldn't, you know, they can't get them with words, sticks and stones.
Yeah, the sticks and stones thing.
Words won't harm me. And Clintons, they're so treacherous. I hate to think like that. They're going to maybe try and get them physically. You know,
oh, no, God forbid. No, Hugh. Let's not even go there. But I do have a handy note for you in terms of your viewing habits. All those other cable channels, forget about it. Keep it right here on Newsmax TV. Let me turn to Sam Nunberg, because, Sam, you are our attorney. And when it comes to libel law, when you're a public figure, let's be honest about this. Donald understands always and forever how to keep his name in the news. He's not really serious about a lawsuit against the Gray Lady, or is he?
Well, you know, Donald is very litigious, and he's very overly, he likes to have his name out there. And certainly, I think Donald probably even likes this exposure. Look, I saw this article. I mean, I read it on Saturday online, and then I saw the Sunday New York Times. And when you actually read the article, I don't know anything in there that came off negative on Mr. Trump. You know, they talked about how he talks to people, how he has pride about his daughter being beautiful. They talk about how, you know, there's a woman there who says, yes, he promoted me. I had this very senior job. No other women in the industry did. But Donald sometimes said, you know, jokes. I worked for Donald for 4.5 years. I spent thousands of hours around Donald. And I can tell you that Donald was respectful to everyone that worked for him. And you had to have respect for your fellow employees. So it's just, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, from a legal point of view, look, Donald knows it's a very high bar. He wouldn't pass it. But, you know, the one thing I would say, JD, is that I hope that we can have a Sunday New York Times piece discussing what Hillary Clinton did with Bill Clinton's paramours. You know, she was an accessory
but you know the bottom line
fact.
on that. Don't hold your breath. Hey, listen, let's go back to the phones right now. Since Amy is in Atlanta, we've got a call from Atlanta. Brendan is on the line. Brendan, I understand you want to talk about the New York Times, Trump, the article, and a possible lawsuit.
Heck yeah, man. I think you ought to sue if you can. If we can win.
So you say go ahead with a lawsuit. More power
Hell
to
yeah.
it. All right.
Heck yeah.
You got a question for Amy since she's right there in Atlanta with you? Anything for the lady who used to run the Tea Party Express?
Are you
Hey,
voting
Brendan.
for Trump?
Absolutely. I'm on board
Cool.
the Trump train.
All right, sounds like a lot of folks are on board the Trump train, and we have talked about that. There's one other thing I want to touch on, Amy, with the minute we have left, and that's Paul Ryan. You know, whatever he thought about, I don't know if he thought he was being the stalking horse or being the voice of Republican establishment, he has dropped like a rock. The poll numbers bear repeating. Who do Republicans trust? 58% say the Donald, 39% say the Speaker, and we saw in the story from Miranda, Speaker didn't look too happy. He was going, well, of course they should support the guy who's going to get the nomination. Is this a major miscalculation on the part of Speaker Ryan? 30 seconds.
You know, look, I'm not surprised at all. Look at what happened to Eric Cantor. Nobody expected that. And here we are. And I've said it before, I think, JD, with you on the air, that this is not just representative of the Republican Party, it's also the Democratic Party. It's across the political spectrum. People are fed up with Washington, and they just don't trust them anymore. That's the bottom line. And I think that that is reflecting in these poll numbers.
And Paul Ryan, of course, facing that challenge in Wisconsin from Paul Nehlen. Listen, a lot of challenging things to talk about tonight. Sam and Amy, you stay right where you are. We're going to get to some more calls, some more questions. And when we come back following the break, the mean little kids at the White House hiding behind executive privilege instead of showing up for a congressional hearing today. That and more straight ahead as Newsmax Prime continues.